It started as a casual evening at her friend's dinner party. The atmosphere was light, full of laughter, clinking glasses, and harmless teasing. I thought we were just enjoying a normal night together. My wife, Emma, had been playful all evening, joking and laughing in ways that usually made me smile. But then came the comment that sliced through the casual cheer like a knife. With a smirk and a laugh, she said to her friend, "I should just give him to you for the night. You treat him better than I do." Everyone around us laughed, assuming it was just a joke. But I felt something shift inside me. A sharp tension I couldn't ignore. It wasn't the joke itself. It was the casual way she said it, like she had the freedom to treat me as if I were a possession to hand over. I said nothing at first. I simply smiled, nodded politely, and let the conversation move on. But inside, a storm was brewing. I watched as Emma leaned back, clearly pleased with the reaction of her friends. Her laughter was light, carefree, but there was a spark of mischief in her eyes that made my chest tighten. The playful teasing that had always been harmless suddenly felt like a challenge. It wasn't about pride or ego. It was about boundaries, about respect. And in that moment, I realized that I couldn't just laugh this off like everyone else did. Something had to change quietly, subtly, without causing a scene. As the evening continued, the teasing escalated. Her friends joined in, making sly comments, asking questions about how I would fit in with their plans, pretending it was all a funny fantasy. Emma laughed along, clearly enjoying the attention. I kept my calm, taking a sip of my drink, observing the entire scene. I didn't need to argue. I didn't need to shout. Every laugh, every teasing glance, every word they said about me as if I was some kind of prize only made me realize how absurd the situation was. And the more it continued, the more I planned my quiet exit. Not out of anger, but out of control, dignity, and the knowledge that the evening had gone too far. Finally, when the night reached its peak, the moment when everyone was at the height of laughter and Emma was leaning into her friend's playful energy, I calmly took her hand. Not dramatically, not with confrontation, just a quiet, deliberate gesture that stopped her mid. She looked at me, eyebrows raised, surprised. "What are you doing?" she whispered. I simply smiled softly and said, "Let's go." That was it. No arguments, no explanation. And as we left the room, the buzz of chatter, the laughter, and the teasing continued behind us. But in that moment, a strange shift began. The night had suddenly turned unpredictable, but not in the way anyone in that room could imagine. We walked to my car in silence, the street lights casting long shadows over the pavement. Her laughter had vanished, replaced by a quiet nervousness I had never seen before. I could feel her heartbeat quicken as she realized this wasn't just a playful withdrawal from the party. It was a subtle but undeniable statement. By choosing to leave together, I had taken control of the narrative in the quietest, most powerful way possible. No one in that house could have predicted that the man they joked about giving away would calmly remove himself from the scene entirely, leaving Emma to silently process the consequences. Once in the car, she tried to speak, her voice shaking with a mix of confusion and embarrassment. "I was just joking," she said, almost pleading. I didn't answer. Not immediately. I drove for a few blocks, letting the silence stretch, letting the reality of her actions sink in. It was the quiet that spoke volumes. The realization that actions, even seemingly harmless jokes, have consequences. Emma's smirk faded, replaced by a flush of humility and nervous anticipation. She hadn't expected this, and deep down, I don't think she had ever considered that her playful teasing could push me to take charge in a way she couldn't control. We stopped at a quiet overlook outside the city, the lights of the town glowing softly in the distance. I turned to her, finally breaking the silence, but not with anger. I simply said, "You make jokes about me like I'm a toy, but this isn't a joke. It's reality, and reality has a way of surprising people." Her eyes widened, her voice faltering. She wanted to laugh it off, but couldn't. The shift was complete. I had taken the unexpected step, leaving the party quietly with her, turning the joke upside down and leaving her entirely unprepared for what was about to happen next. And then it happened. A random call came in from one of her friends still at the party. "Where did you go?" they yelled through the phone, laughter audible in the background. Emma froze, the blush of embarrassment spreading across her face. I calmly held the phone, letting her hear the panic and confusion from the other side. Her playful, teasing persona shattered instantly. She realized everyone at the party was now whispering, speculating, trying to figure out why we had left. And in that quiet, unspoken way, the night that had been about jokes and laughter transformed into a moment of unpredictability, leaving everyone, especially her, scrambling to make sense of the chaos. For the rest of the night, the dynamic between us changed. Emma remained quiet, reflective, almost ashamed as she processed how a simple joke had turned into a lesson she hadn't expected. I didn't lecture her. I didn't demand apologies, and I didn't shout. I simply allowed the moment to be experienced fully, letting the quiet consequences of her actions speak louder than any words ever could. By quietly leaving with her, I had not only removed myself from humiliation, but also flipped the narrative, demonstrating the power of calm, silent authority over impulsive games and careless jokes. By morning, she finally spoke, apologizing with tears and trembling words. The night had left her humbled, shocked, and fully aware of how reckless her teasing had been. For me, the lesson was clear. Boundaries, respect, and dignity cannot be negotiated, and sometimes the quietest reactions have the most explosive impact. That night, no one could have predicted what would happen, but the result was undeniable. The joke had completely backfired. The unexpected twist had shifted power in subtle but irreversible ways, and Emma learned that some playful lines, once crossed, can lead to wildly unexpected consequences that no one forgets.